Yo, what's going on, you guys? It's your man, the Grass Ninja. Welcome to the channel. In today's video, we're doing Boruto 2 Blue Vortex, Chapter 17. This chapter right here it's like a breath of fresh air. You know, we have the title of the chapter, Wild Beast Cubs, and a lot of the things that go on in this chapter just kind of, you know, it calms things down, but in a way that sets up a lot of conflict, and it's overall just interesting. Like, the overall takeaway from this chapter is that the essence of OG Naruto is really coming into play with this chapter. Not only do we have Konohamaru's secret mission to befriend and then betray the Shinju team of Ryu and Matsuri, but there's all this secrecy between Shikamaru and Konohamaru over all of the intel he's been getting from Kashin Koji. Some real deception and multi-layered ninja tactics being displayed in this chapter, which is like a warm welcome and a nice departure from the overpowered and high-level ninjutsu battles we've been getting recently. Not to say that I'm not enjoying that aspect of the story, but it's just a pleasant way to bring the story back to ground-level conflicts. Even though when these battles take place, we are going to be having two different teams versing two different Shinju pretty much at the same time. So anyway, let's just go over some of the key takeaways of Chapter 17. Let's kind of break it down, talk about how we feel. Obviously, the chapter starts off with Sarada still being kind of torn up by Sumire's words from the last chapters, and in all honesty, meh. Like, I don't care about the love triangle too much. That's just me. Like, if that's your thing, by all means, like, ride with it. Like, I don't really care if Boruto ends up with Sarada or Sumire or how that's gonna, you know, play out. Like, that aspect of the story is like hit or miss. Like, sure, sometimes it's cool, other times it's whatever. A lot of the times for me it's whatever, but like I said, Sarada's torn up. She's not really focused on the mission. That could pose as some opportunity for her to be distracted in a crucial moment, or for her to not take charge and be the leader she needs to be, while, you know, I'm assuming leading her squad of Mitsuki, Yodo, and Araya while they try to combat against Ryu. So we'll see how that plays out later, but you know, they're setting the tone, they're putting strings in the right place. We'll just see what has to happen. But we learn more about some of the new characters like Yodo and Matsuri and their sensory capabilities. So not sure if this was revealed in the Boruto manga or in the Boruto anime for that matter, but Yodo has high-level sensory capabilities in the form of sound. So she has like super hearing. So she's able to listen in on conversations that are happening far away while she's spying on Ryu and Matsuri, and she picks up on the fact that Matsuri definitely has sensory capabilities, because Matsuri is able to talk to the trees. Even in the middle of a desert, she's able to talk to the trees buried way deep below the sand, and the trees are telling them that Boruto left this toad here purposefully, or he was the one who did leave the toad. So Boruto was definitely there, and they're using the trees, not just like the claw grinds or the people trapped in trees, but it seems like just all of the trees to kind of communicate and find out information. And it's more of a matter of when than if they're actually going to be able to pick up on Konohamaru's team spying on them. So they have to go and make their move. Now, before they approach, we get a flashback of how Konohamaru got this mission, and we learn that the Shinju are tailed beast cubs, or wild beast cubs. Basically, they're the offspring of the Shinju, and we know that Jura is a direct incarnation of the Ten Tails, and all of these other Shinju are kind of offshoots and offspring of the claw grimes, you know, eating people, stealing their chakra. So they're really naive and gullible and still immature. They haven't really fleshed out who they are yet, which is why they want to devour these certain individuals. But at the end of the day, they're not intrinsically evil. So we learn that Shikamaru has this dark plan in place to basically befriend and then betray the Shinju, which is like so anti-Hokage Naruto that even Konohamaru's kind of like, whoa, isn't there any other way? Shikamaru's like, look, this is the best plan. This plan is perfect. All you gotta do is execute it. I get that it's not how Naruto would have done things, but we're talking about superhuman monsters trying to destroy all of humanity here. So, like, get your ass in gear, okay? And we also learn that Matsuri has romantic feelings for Konohamaru, right? And Shikamaru wants him to take advantage of that. It's like, oh yeah, figure out how to separate them, take advantage of the fact that she wants you, and then, betray her. Do it. Be a ninja. Be heartless. For the sake of humanity, do your job, right? Now, I'm talking like this because I honestly don't believe that this plan is going to work the way it's designed to work because of a couple of reasons. Obviously, Konohamaru is probably going to be choked up and not be able to kind of hold his end of the bargain when it comes to just like betraying Matsuri, because like, when's the last time this man got any? Okay, just saying. And then you got to think, even Mitsuki earlier in the chapter is like, yeah, I understand the plan, I'm just not sure how it's going to work, or if it's going to work. And then you also have Sarada, with her whole love triangle drama not being entirely focused, and she's in some sort of capacity, at least in my opinion, supposed to act as like the leader of her unit as they separate away, because they do successfully separate Matsuri and Ryu. Now, we learned some interesting details that I kind of want to point out. So obviously Shikamaru has his dark plan. They're basically beasts, they're like cubs, so like if you can domesticate them and become friends with them, you'll be able to snuff them out early before they become intrinsically evil or fully powered or fully mature, whatever it is, right? But then we have Mitsuki saying that, hey, look, I found a piece of metal that he believes Boruto uses for his teleportation. And I'm just like, how does he know? Like, I get that he's fought Boruto, right? And Boruto's used Flying Raijin a couple of times against Mitsuki. But like, to be able to just deduce that he uses metallic objects in order to achieve teleportation, and those act as his teleportation markers, like, is Mitsuki in the loop with Kashin Koji and Shikamaru? Like, I understand he's kind of connected in that, but like, is that intel that was given to them when they got this mission? Like, oh, this is how Boruto's teleportation works. Trust me, you don't need to know where I got this information. By the way, Matsuri wants you, bro, so take advantage of that. Be a ninja, for God's sake. So like, I'm just wondering how Mitsuki knows, because he took that piece of metal with him as Mitsuki and Sarada separate with Ryu. And we get a lot of weird character development with Ryu, because like, he just sounds funny. Like, as you're reading the text bubbles, he's like, for reals? Boruto uses metal to teleport? For reals? Oh wow, you Konoha shinobi are super nice peeps. Boss man Jura told me all about y'all. He has high respect for y'all. For reals. Like, it's just kind of funny, like, reading it, and like, this is not what I expected for Ryu. Okay? But then Ada and Kashin Koji, we find out that they're also working together, so she has like a toad just like sitting on her neck and in her hair, which is kind of gross. Like, I don't know, it's just weird. But like, Kashin Koji asks her to relay him information on what's going on the battlefield, and at first she's like, I don't want to. Like, what if that creepo geezer is there? What if Mamushi is there? Because he can see me, And he assures her he's not there. But this is really powerful for Kashin Koji, because obviously he can see all the multiple different future possibilities and their likelihood of happening, and she can see into the past and all present moments. So this is like an omniscient team right here. And if they are able to work together without Mamushi, getting in the way, that's super powerful intel gathering right there. She's got everything ever, and he can see what's gonna happen and the likelihood of which future is likely to be achieved. So it's just really cool, that kind of dynamic and that teamwork. And he's also able to do that without being subjugated to her charm, because he's not directly in contact with her. He's using like a walkie-talkie and stuff. He's never like actually made eye-to-eye contact with Ada, or at least from what we can tell. So a lot of cool stuff is going on there. Really want to see how that dynamic kind of flushes out later on. And we get this interesting moment where Boruto and Kashin Koji kind of like butt heads in a small moment in the chapter, which leads me to believe that there might be like some sort of falling out or some rebellion on Boruto's part, because you gotta remember, sure, he's super stoic and badass and mysterious, Sasuke 2.0, Boruto in the time skip, right? Super powerful, but at the same time, it's Boruto. So when he's like, hey, percentage-wise, what's the likelihood that these guys fail? And then Kashin Koji's like, it's not really high, but it's not zero. And he's like, yo, I asked you for a number. He's like, it don't matter. No matter what happens, you can't go out there. If you enter this battle, it's 100% likely that Juro will show up and kill you. So you need to sit your ass down. Obviously, I'm paraphrasing, but like, Boruto gives him this look like, look, if my friends are in danger, I'm going out there. And Mitsuki's holding a shard of metal, which I tried to look at it, and you can't really tell if it has some unique design or anything. It just looks like he's holding a piece of rock. But if he suspects that, hey, this is a piece of metal that Boruto uses to teleport, and he's holding on to that, that means he can just show up on Mitsuki's side whenever, right? So we'll have to see what actually transpires later down the line. But I'm really interested to see if like Boruto does kind of go back to his like youthful days and kind of rebels and like thinks that he knows best, try to counteract Kashin Koji's orders or his plan, kind of mess things up. But obviously we had the spoiler material that came out. Jura's buying books in Konoha. You know, apparently Jura's loaded. He's just like, yeah, keep the change, use it as an advance. I'm gonna show up here again and get more books from you. And the bookkeeper's like, hey, I ain't asking questions, you know, loyal customer. Say, you want to sign up for our rewards program? Just put your phone number in. Like, that's the kind of exchange it was. But, you know, it doesn't really amount to anything as of right now. It just shows that when Kashin Koji said, hey, Jura might show up and like buy books and stuff, don't confront him, that he knows what he's talking about. And things are playing according to the future he's seen so far. And as long as nobody messes anything up, it should play out the way it's designed to. But, you know, it's no fun trying to tell a story like that if there aren't any hiccups in the road. Obviously, there's going to be a battle at some point, and can't wait to see what actually happens there, like how Ryu's going to end up fighting and how Konohamaru's going to mess this whole thing up. But anyway, the chapter ends with Kawaki confronting Amato, and he basically demands that he unlocks his full power because Boruto told him, this man's got limiters placed on you like he did Code. You should be way stronger than you are, but you can't tap into your full offensive power because Amato's been tweaking your stats. So that whole confrontation happens at the very end of the chapter, and obviously Kawaki demands for his full power. So in the next chapter, if they continue with the trend of the next one picks up exactly where the last one went off, and we don't get like some weird flashback with like, you know, long hair Boruto, or like, you know, maybe we get a flashback of how Amato put the limiters on there, that'd be cool. But we're gonna get some sort of revelation there, and I don't know if Kawaki understands it's not just limiters that are placed on him. My man has a whole shutdown protocol, okay? We're talking about Amato, the guy who put little cameras in Kawaki's eyes, little microphones in Kawaki's ears, so he can hear and see what Kawaki hears and sees. So he has a lot of control over Kawaki, not just limiting his power. We know that he can turn him off, like he can shut him down. So, you know, if you want to go to the extreme, this man might be able to like rewrite his memories and make him forget that he asked all that stuff. But, you know, story's got to do what story's got to do. So I'm imagining Kawaki's going to have full power pretty soon, and he might end up joining the battlefield, which is way different than if Boruto steps in. And if we get to see full power Kawaki really let loose, you know, that's going to be one of the coolest things ever, because Kawaki needs a W more than Konohamaru right now, if I'm being honest. But obviously, they're trying to do all this stuff to collect the thorn bulbs so they can rescue their friends, and I'm wondering how that's going to play out, because we know that the thorn bulb can rot, and the shinju can just teleport from, like, anywhere they want. So, if they collect the thorn bulbs, and Jura doesn't come directly after them, is it possible that, you know, the thorn bulbs start rotting away, and they're not, like, successful in saving their friends, or how that whole thing goes? We kind of get a visual on how that process is supposed to look. Like, if you put the thorn soul into the tree bark of the friend you're trying to save, it should be undone, but we still don't really know that whole process yet. But the main thing with this chapter is fleshing out the intelligence and the personalities of Matsuri and Ryu. There's definitely potential for these villains to become sympathetic characters, especially Matsuri, with how she's been set up to get played by Konohamaru. You know, hell knows no fury like a woman scorned. So if he really drops the bag here, if he fumbles this, he's dead. And if he's not dead, Boruto or Kawaki are showing up to save him, and we're gonna get an epic showdown. Who's to say Jura doesn't show up just because Kawaki's there? Like, I'm just saying. Or, you know, we also have the whole Code angle too that hasn't really been fleshed out, so maybe Code shows up if one of them show up, because, you know, that's just how things roll, which is honestly far more interesting in my opinion than any of this love triangle stuff with Sarada, Sumire, and Boruto. Like, Let me see Matsuri get her heart broken and then go ham on Konohamaru. Beat that man half to death, only for him to get rescued by Kawaki. That'd be super awesome. You know, Shikamaru's dark plan is probably the most ninja thing we've seen in a long while, and I can't wait to see how this battle unfolds. And I'm really hoping we get more of this kind of attitude and story writing in the future. Like, I get it, everything's super overpowered. The scale has been set to cosmic with aliens and like Biju bombs and everything is just, you know, up, okay? But like, you can scale the battles down through ninja strategy, you know? So let me see more of that. And then obviously, you know, just credit to Mitsuki for somehow knowing how Boruto's teleportation works. Like, is he really that smart? Like, I get he's Orochimaru's clone, but that's just crazy that he's like, oh yeah, I had a fight with Boruto and I figured out how his teleportation works without anyone explaining it to me. Like, props to Mitsuki there. And do you think Boruto or Kawaki is gonna step in and, like, you know, get their hands dirty in this upcoming battle? Because Kawaki's trying to get his limiters removed, Boruto's over here, you know, questioning the validity of Kashin Koji's plan. Like, are you planning to sacrifice my friends? Because that's not gonna fly with me. So is Boruto gonna leave or is Kawaki gonna leave, right? And then if it's like, if Boruto leaves, Joro will 100% kill him. What happens if Kawaki shows up too? You know? So, cool little showdown in the works here. Can't wait to see how this thing unfolds. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share, because that lets YouTube know that my videos are worth watching. You know, go ahead and watch whatever video gets recommended at the end page. And peace.